What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another podcast with Metro Jiu Jitsu. I'm Coach David.
Coach Mohammad, good morning.
And so we got some good questions. Did you work out this morning?
This morning I did not. I did have my shake though.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
The beet juice?
I had some no beet juice.
No beet juice. Okay. All right. Okay. He's just, it's always, I wonder what he's going to walk in with, next. He always has something new you're trying.
Yeah.
So,
you like making fun of me with my shakes?
No, I'm jealous. So it's a defense mechanism. That's all it is.
All right. Because one of the world's strongest men is a vegan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does he train jiu-jitsu?
He's a power lifter.
So sounds like he's going to gas out then.
Yeah, probably, but he could lift more than you.
Well, that's true. There's a lot of guys that lift more than me. I'm gonna go kill this.
Yeah, one of the strongest humans alive is actually a vegan. Arnold Schwarzenegger is even like borderline vegan now.
Arnold's vegan.
Arnold is vegan. Yeah.
Well, All right, so we got some good questions. We're gonna we're gonna start into them. If you guys have questions, post them in the chat or comments. We will check those periodically. And so, Mr. Dan Bronson says, "How are the two of you guys doing? Miss everyone. Are you going to open a gym in Monroe? You know what, man? Monroe is it's definitely not on the books right now. Monroe is there is a gym in Monroe, isn't there?
Yeah. What's his name out there?
I don't know his name. I know it's Monroe Jiu Jitsu. It's like that. It's like a little kind of. It's like it's tight.
I forget his name, but he used to be a long distance runner.
The coach there?
Yeah, head coach. He used to be a long distance runner, and I think he was a competitive runner. Really nice guy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, really. We've gone down there for a couple pretty big seminars.
Yeah, Monroe. So Monroe's not. It's not on the books, man. Monroe. I grew up in Monroe. A lot of
That's right.
Yeah, a lot of I'll visit Monroe, but I don't know if I want to open a gym in Monroe. Never say never. You never know. But like
the Boy Scout you see here, Coach David, was a different Coach David back in Monroe.
Yeah, Monroe's. Craig Churchill said one of the best things about Monroe. And if you're from Monroe, I'm sorry. I mean, he's like, it's one of those cities you just gotta get out of.
Yeah.
He's like, it's just one of those cities you gotta get out of. Like it's great. You grow up, it's fun. They have the fairgrounds, they have the Custer statue, they have the River Raisin Park. It's awesome. But I feel like you either retire to Monroe in like the historic district, but you got to get out of it.
Yeah, I think there's like a world champ. It was a Bronco McCart or one of the like a really really renowned boxers from Monroe.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's Bronco McCart.
Okay. Well, there you go.
Yeah, there's some history there.
Okay. All right. So we hope to see you back soon, Mr. Dan. Scott. What's up, Scott? How are you doing? Scott, good morning. His name. Good morning. His name is Scott.
What's up, Jesse?
So we've got a.
What's up, Jesse?
What's that one going on?
That's live on my page. What's going on, Jesse?
So how long? Mr. Justin says, how long should I wait before having my son compete in tournaments? He's only been in the class about a month. Doesn't know any submissions, so I was assuming to wait until he had some understanding of at least one. Part of me also thinks experiencing competition can be beneficial. Either way, thanks, coaches. So we're one of the few schools whose 5-year-olds train submissions. Everyone else, they're scared of it. They want to teach submission grappling without the submission, which is just grappling, which is fine. So, but a lot of times, like at the beginner, they're not even allowed to do submissions.
Yeah.
So
sometimes it's 5, 6, maybe sometimes it's even up to 7, depending on the tournament.
7
years old.
7-year-olds can't do submissions.
I've seen tournaments, up to 7 years old, no submission.
Yeah. That's so. Justin, to answer your question, we're very. I believe in sort of like the process, and so if you want him to compete, then let him compete. I mean, if he's only been competing a month, and he goes against someone who's been training a year, then that's good. That's good for him. We're not, you know, we're one of those that like compete to compete again. You know, like we're not trying to like build the A team and we only bring the A squad and you have to qualify because like, I mean, we regularly bring the largest team to tournaments that we support. On tournaments we don't support, we don't bring a team to. But like but that's, so we show up in numbers and people notice that. And so being around his team, being around his coaches, being around his peers, competing, that is going to be, I think that's going to be beneficial regardless. So even he's got a month or whatever. Plus he's scrappy. So so there's that, you have to consider that too. If you take a 6-month-old or dude's been training 6 months and they're like Scarlett, Coach Mohammad said Scarlett's still not allowed to compete. She's been training 18 months. So that's you have to kind of compare that a little bit. So
well, I mean, I make the example is if your son or daughter is doing soccer or even ice skating, like they have competitions after a bunch of practices.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So like if they're so they practice all week and they get to know the coach, the team, the system, and what it is they're trying to do at game time or go time. You really have to test it out in a tournament to see if it actually works.
Yeah.
And you know, and quite often, to be honest with you, it's not really about the competing or winning or anything like that. It's just about getting the kids experience to work under pressure, to be in foreign areas. So. Got some questions?
I don't know. Is Scott the coach at Monroe?
No, Scott. What's up, Scott?
Someone says his name is Coach Scott with Monroe. Are you seeing that?
I'm not sure. No, Scott is actually a really cool guy that was in the supplement industry.
Oh, I got you. Okay.
Scott was manufacturing supplements for animals, farm animals, pets, and yeah.
What were they? What were the animals doing that they needed supplements?
It was like it's in Michigan. It's like a big manufacturing facility. Yeah. Yeah. Looked into making our own line of supplements. So
oh, wow.
Scott is definitely not a jiu-jitsu guy. He is a grinder, weight training kind of guy. What's up, sis? How you doing?
You could be both. You could be a weight trainer and a jiu-jitsu guy.
You can. Scott's buff though. Scott is like, he's big. I don't think Scott. I don't know. Scott might have a history of grappling.
He could get into it. And so, what do you think? I have a question. Like, what do you think? This wasn't on here. Somebody I posted, I think, tongue in cheek a little bit on jiu-jitsu, and they were saying, after what rank can you are you able to like hold your own against any size opponent? Todd Williams. Yeah, Coach Todd in Monroe.
Coach Todd, yes. Yeah. Yeah. Send a shout out to Coach Todd.
Yeah.
And if you're ever down in Monroe, he's definitely got a great place to train at. Really welcoming.
So what size do you think like you could hold your own against anybody?
I mean, I guess it depends who you're asking. You know, like I'm, you know, if you're asking like a 30-year-old guy that's in shape, that's been training for a few years, you're probably going to know enough to, when you say hold your own, not get killed. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah.
Not get killed. Like we have a couple guys in here that are probably 250 that are jacked. Like when I say jacked, I mean, these guys look like a professional bodybuilder, professional athletes. You look at them and regardless of your rank, it's like, oh man, I don't want to deal with all that. So I think a couple years, you know enough to kind of like close the distance, whether you're on top or bottom, just, you know, keep yourself in a safe place. I'd say a couple years. What do you think?
Well, because I'm thinking of, when I think of that, I'm thinking of like up to 100-pound spread.
Yeah.
So 100 pounds. So you take someone who's 150 to be able to hold their own against someone who's 250. And I would say like, and I'm thinking of 250 like your jacked buddy.
Yeah.
You know, not a sloppy 250.
Yeah.
You know, not your average American 250 pounder, you know, so like who gets winded going up a flight of stairs. So like, I think I would say 150, like 150 pounder to be able to hold its own and or submit. Yeah, probably 4 or 5 years. without question. Obviously, everyone's different, but I would say purple. You're looking at purple belt. You're looking at something like that. To where, because 100 pounds is a big difference. And you take someone like Coach Colin.
Yeah.
He's tiny, he's strong for his size, but you give him someone who's 250 and like works out 5 days a week. Like that's a handful.
Yeah.
That's a handful. And so it takes like the technique to, and unfortunately, like because he's not going against 250-pound guys every day. He's going against 150-pound guys every day. Yeah. So that would be, I think it'd be that, but it also, I think it varies too.
Yeah. I mean, I'd say once you get to, my opinion, purple belt level, 3 to 5 years, you should be able to like keep yourself safe.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
But then you take somebody like Jesse. Jesse, how old are you?
Is that Bouchard?
Yeah. Jesse, how much you weigh? Let me see.
I feel like he's compact.
Yeah. Jesse's definitely under 200.
Coach Todd Williams was an Olympian.
Oh, Olympian runner.
That's a whole new level.
How much do you weigh, Jesse?
That's a whole new level. Yeah, when you're dealing with while we're waiting on that answer, when you're dealing with that level of size difference, like that's a lot to deal with. That's a lot to deal with for sure.
Well, yeah. Again, wow. You don't look like 200. But yeah,
Jesse, I believe that he's thick. Jesse's thick.
Yeah. Well, like he's Jesse's probably he's not the tallest athlete, but somebody like him is going against a big jacked 250 guy. He's been training more than 4 or 5 years, but he not only can he hold his own, at the 5 years plus, then you can start to like generate some offense.
Yeah. Oh, dude. No. Yeah. But 5 years plus. I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
But I'd still rather avoid that fight.
Yeah, man. You avoid every fight. You avoid every fight. Like, you know what I mean? Like you avoid every fight. Like I do. Like you'd be surprised. I intentionally like go out of my, because it can go south. Like it can always go south. Yeah. You know what I mean? And while jiu-jitsu is like obviously our opinion biased, but single most important martial art there is, you choose one, choose jiu-jitsu. Yeah. Next to your Glock, like in a self-defense scenario, like you just don't avoid it because especially now too, I don't know how true this is. I don't know if we have a judge, lawyer or something. Like if they find out that we're black belts, we get in a physical altercation that could have been avoided. Yeah. Now we're held to a higher standard. Same with purple, brown belts. Same with even blue belts. Yeah. Like they're held to a higher. They're like, oh well, he trained, so they're gonna think you've got a chip on your shoulder. That like, so it's just like, I got nothing to prove, bro. Like I got nothing to prove. I got like, you avoid the fight at all costs because it's just not. It's. I can't think of a scenario in which it's worth it.
But I remember one time about 10 years ago, I was a blue belt. And a University of Michigan wrestler came in to the gym, and he was he kind of had Jesse's build. When you looked at him, you wouldn't think this guy's in phenomenal shape, but he's in shape. But as soon as you hear a U of M D1 wrestler, I'm like, oh my God,
that's a big deal. That's a big deal.
Yeah,
that's like probably one of the most well-conditioned athletes on the planet.
Yeah. So what I did is at the blue belt level, I'm like, oh my God. Well, I have no idea what's going to happen here. So I, before I got taken down, I pulled guard, got him into a closed guard, and just started to work from there.
Sure.
And then that basically nullified his wrestling.
Yeah. Closed guard does really well. Are you getting the comments on here? I'm trying to read on an iPhone from 8 feet away. It's not going too hot for me. Yeah, like my eyes are the first thing to go, I guess. They so that answers your question, Justin. So we've got a follow up to that. How do you overcome the nerves of starting jiu-jitsu? Like we get that a lot. Like those 250-pound jack guys. Yeah. They come in here and they're always coming in. We're finishing up our kids' class. So the kids are, doing matches. Yeah. And then I was like, hey, what's up, man? Coach David, whatever. And they've got they're like, it's going and I was like, you okay? Like, you look nervous. And they're all usually honest. They're like, I'm really nervous. I'm really nervous because no matter how big and tough they are, there's something about jiu-jitsu that makes it nerve-wracking to come in here. Like you have to overcome. I have mad respect for anybody who walks in that door, because you could have been anywhere else. You could be doing anything else, and you could. Jiu-jitsu has a reputation of like not messing around. Yeah. Like it's not BS, right? And so it's got a reputation of like, yeah, that's the real deal type thing. Mm-hmm. And with that comes, I feel like, a lot of ego and almost like this, like when people hear jiu-jitsu, they hear UFC. So, which is not two very different things, by the way. Cage fighting and jiu-jitsu, two totally different mentalities. Yeah. And so what would you say to somebody who's thinking about it, but it makes me nervous to try it out? You know, what do we think about that?
I can't tell you how many times that, you know, someone will walk into a gym and like I'd say 90% of the people are like, they knew they're going to start jiu-jitsu. They know they wanted to do it, and they start getting in shape. They go to the gym, they start lifting, and they get stronger a little bit. They get a little momentum, and then boom, they come into the gym. I can't tell you how often that happens. So you don't need it. You don't need strength. You don't need it. I mean, my biggest and toughest matches throughout my entire career have been guys that are being much smaller than me.
Yeah, I hate that. That. My least favorite guy to go against is probably like 165, 170.
Yeah, like Alex. Remember Alex Hody?
Of course.
Alex was like Alex, and like Jesse's another one. Those are small. They're much smaller than me. I mean, Alex Hody is probably like, you know, much lighter than Jesse, but man, they are just like, you would never think so much force could be generated by somebody that's like almost half my size.
Yeah. That's the most fun.
So you don't need that muscle. You just got to come in and, you know, learn some technique.
What he's trying to say is you're going to be humbled no matter what condition you're in.
That's the truth.
So you might as well start sooner than later. Like there's really nothing you can do next at the Planet Fitness next door to prepare yourself for jiu-jitsu. No. That being said, we make the barrier of entry quite low. Yeah. Quite low. Yeah. I got a 64-year-old on the team last night. 64.
Wow, that's amazing.
So, you know, he's like active though. He's like hockey player, like really, really active.
64 is still 64.
It's my father's age. Wow. Yeah, like that's crazy. 68. Are you getting comments on that? I'm seeing comments. I rolled for the first time the other day. Brian, how often you see that mentality in adults versus kids?
Which one?
Which mentality? Wow. Timmy at your guy's school is a stud. He's only 16. Tommy. I must be talking about Tommy. He used to compete at 68 kilograms. Oh, Brian Card. Brian, were you supposed to be in here yesterday? I feel like we've set 5 appointments for you, bro. Like over the past 2 years. I even said something. I was like, yeah, what's going on with that? And we didn't see you. So we should get you on the mat. But the one, nerves and fear. One you were describing, nerves and fear.
Yeah.
What's the question? He said, how often you see that mentality in adults versus children? Always. Every person. Yeah, they have that. Like some of the kids are a little bit more naive with it, so they're like, you'll have the kids who are like, they're either like deathly afraid, especially with what's been going on with like lockdown and COVID and all that. Yeah. Like, so you've got the mentality. I mean, talk about selling ice in a snowstorm. Like you want to like everyone else, stay 6 feet away, don't touch other kids, don't come anywhere. And now we're like, hey, come get as close as you can and don't let the person go. Like, so like the kids have got that mentality a little bit. Yeah. And so you have the one kids who like, they're just scared in general. Yeah. But then you have the others who are like, they're great. They walk in the door and they're just high. They're excited. They're vibrating. Like they're vibrating.
You know what's crazy is you could be 5 years old and come in here and have never been in a room full of other children.
That is why. That is mind blowing.
Yeah. Like kids will come in, parents will bring their kids in. And, you know, I feel so bad because they've never been exposed to a room full of kids.
Yep.
And it's like something they only see on TV, on the movies.
Yep.
So that's just, I feel so bad when I see kids that are, have gone through that. But
let's see. I'm going to reply to a couple of these. How's it going? This is sweet.
Recommendations for joint supplements. Jesse, 100, Dr. Joints. Dr. Joints.
Dr. Joints.
Yeah, absolutely. Dr. Joints is a great supplement. Come down here and teach a judo class, and I'll get you a 6-month supply of Dr. Joints for free.
So how do you overcome the nerves of starting jiu-jitsu? Did we answer? I mean, we kind of answered it with just do it, which is it's kind of just do it. It's a cliche answer, but it goes into I'm gonna put that on pause to get to the next thing. It's going to go into our mental health thing.
Okay.
It goes into you have to have a really good reason for why you're training. If you're just trying to fill a 1 or 2 hour time block in your day,
yeah,
that's not going to be a good enough reason to do it.
Yeah.
If you got a call from your doctor saying, "Hey, listen, get in shape or make funeral arrangements in 6 months,"
yeah,
that's a better reason.
Yeah.
But going into the mental health, we'll cover that next. I'm going to connect these two. But Coach, you wanted to talk about the concept of contribution, as a whole. So I'll let you lead that off.
So contribution in jiu-jitsu, I would say anybody watching this, anybody that's been training jiu-jitsu for a couple years would teach it for free.
We did. We coached. You coached for many years for free, and then because you do there's always this, whether you are the quote unquote head coach that day. I can't tell you how many of my teammates, they're like during open mat, you're rolling with them, you're answering questions as a purple, they were whites or whatever. And I was like, hey, here, man, do this. Because again, the better you make the base level of your team, the stronger that the weakest link is, the whole team's better. So it behooves me to make them better. So I'm helping them. And they're like, man, I can't tell you how much I'm learning from you, and it takes that mentality of it. You have to have that. You have to be looking to give back to the team.
So if you let's say you go to the gym and you see somebody there regularly and they start to become part of your shift.
We're talking about jiu-jitsu academy?
No, we're talking about weightlifting.
Oh, okay. All right.
We're talking about weightlifting, and you go into the gym. You're always there at the same time, same area, and you're running into the same people. You start to develop some hellos, some friendships, some acquaintances. And once that person's workout is over, they got to go. They got to go to work. They got to go home. They got responsibilities.
Yep.
But I can't tell you, it's in practice for people after they're done with their workout to stay and contribute and help somebody with their workout, to answer questions. Hey, what are you doing? I noticed you're doing this exercise. It's very, very common that happens. Jiu-jitsu is not only similar, but after the class is over, I have 6 kids I have to get home to. After the class is over, I have family and other work responsibilities, and I have to go. But it's pretty common that I stay, you stay, and other people stay, because we all have to get out of here. We can't sleep here.
Of course.
To actually help other people answer questions and just kind of do almost a little round table and brainstorming about what was going on that day. So as far as contribution, man, jiu-jitsu is the epitome of giving back. Everybody wants to give back in jiu-jitsu, because you can feel the changes in your physical and your mental mindset, that giving back is something that you kind of feel, you feel obligated. You'd feel wrong if you just trained, got up and ran away, without trying to help the people around you.
Yeah. Yeah, that and I think that that's something we even touch on with our kids too, though, right? Like we talk about, again, I would say a great majority of our of the parents who bring their kids in, self-defense is one. Self-defense is one of the things, but they want their kids to be contributing members of society, socialize with other kids, what have you. And so one of the largest compliments we get a lot about is I always ask, how did the other kids treat your kid?
Yeah.
Because if they were bullies, I need to know that, right? I want to know that so that we can kind of address that behavior. But they always say, I'm surprised, even then they were helping the other kids.
Yeah.
And so that builds into the culture. And I think that comes from You can't have a selfish mindset.
Yeah.
You can't have a selfish mindset when you train.
Yeah, definitely.
And so what else in regards to contribution?
So, and getting into contributing, like in my opinion, contribution and helping and giving is a habit and it's a muscle.
Yeah.
So if you don't use it, it doesn't become strong, and there's no muscle memory to do it when the opportunity presents itself. So, I think that contribution and jiu-jitsu goes hand in hand because you practice helping people all day long, and it should translate outside of the mat, outside of the gym, and you should be helping people in other areas, other places, other things. And contribution could be, like, honestly, it could be helping somebody, like, to open up the door for them. It sounds cheesy, but there's like this little it's a moral compass, it's a voice, it's your gut telling you that somebody needs help. And I think, honestly, I believe, like, God put it in all of us because we're here to help and serve other people, right? That's the goal. And I think that in jiu-jitsu, it really nurtures that, and it teaches you to serve the people around you a little bit better.
Yeah, they and this isn't by no means is this a religious podcast, but when you've got Jiu Jitsu Academy owned by a Muslim and a Christian, stuff like this is going to come out, right? So there's actually a Bible verse that says, "To him that knows to do the right thing and does not do it, that's sin." So it's not just like avoid doing the wrong thing and you're good. It's like, if you know there's the right thing to do and you don't do that, that's sin. Yeah. And so, like, kind of the same principle of, like, you see someone, and I've actually been in this. I don't know about you guys. I've been in this position, like, we're driving somewhere and I see someone. I'm actually one of, like, the 4% of men who know how to change a tire on the side of the road. So I see someone with a fly. It's a joke,
bro. I have AAA. Why would I need to know how to change the tire?
Well, sometimes, yeah, you got 3 hours to wait for them to get there. But so, like, you drive somewhere and you see someone, like, I've seen someone on the side of the road, and, like, in my initial thought is I should help them.
Yeah.
But then, like, my selfish side comes in and I was like, oh, I'm too busy. I got to be somewhere.
Yeah.
Like, that's like I forget what book I was reading. It was talking about the importance. It was planning your schedule, but accommodating your schedule for, he said, what did he say? Schedule in randomness, like the flexibility to, like, do something random. And so, like to do that, like the one voice was like, I should help him. But then, like, the selfish David was like, no, I'm too busy. And we can all say that. Like, we live in the fastest paced probably society that the world has seen. Like, everyone's got somewhere to be and something they could be doing. So,
and part of this came up. So there was a jiu-jitsu family that had a traumatic loss, and wife lost her husband, and they went through some very traumatic time. So we supported them and tried to help raise some money. And then, we put it up there. And by the way, if you're watching, if you donated, thank you so much for donating. Yeah.
She's very grateful. Yeah.
Very, very grateful. So, so David looked at the post. He's like, hey, man, just change it to say, somebody needs help, even if it's $1.
Yeah.
And the truth is giving is giving, whether you give $1 or $500. We had one person donate $500. He's actually Dr. Hazen. Thank you very much for that donation. We appreciate it. We have people donate $5 and $10. Yeah. And it's not about how much you give. It's the art and the practice of giving and living, incorporating that into your daily life, giving and contributing. So it's not how much you give, it's that you give. It's not how much you help, it's just that you help.
Absolutely. And I think it's out of your capacity as well.
Yeah.
So somebody who had, like, if you won't give, I've always said this, like obviously donations and things like that, charity is a huge part of my faith. Yeah. Yours as well, huge. And so, but I've always, like, it's easy to play the game. Again, I'm guilty of this. Like, it's easy to play the game. Like, when money was tight, the first thing that has to be cut, it's so easy for that to be the first thing you cut. Right.
Yeah.
So easy.
Yep.
So easy for that to be the first thing to cut. But if you can't give $1 out of 10, you won't give 10,000 out of a million.
Yeah.
So don't fool yourself into being like, once I've got plenty of money, I will.
Yeah.
Because like you said, it's a practice. It's a muscle memory. And there's like there's no expectation. Like you can't have any expectation with that. Like you can't be like, I'm going to give. And then I'm going to, I hope I get a shout out on Metro's podcast for what I get. That none of those people did that, by the way. They just gave because they had the capacity. They wanted to help. They empathized with the situation. They've probably been in a time where they needed help before, so like all these things go into it. And it is conducive to a selfless, humble behavior.
Yeah. So if you, if you want to take anything from it, like, give regularly. Like we're encouraged, like my school and personal train of thought is like, if I have $100 to give this month, don't give $100 to one person, place, thing, or organization. Give 10 different people, 10 different organizations, $10 each. You reach more people that way. So anyway, that gets back to like jiu-jitsu is all about giving and contributing, and definitely encourage everybody to give and help. I don't have everybody on that list, but Nahed, I don't know if you're on this. She's a local insurance agent. She donated a couple $100. Her kids are actually at another jiu-jitsu school. So
that's the community, though.
Yeah.
Like you hear that, and I know I've seen that happen lots of times. Like a jiu-jitsu sort of brother, if you will. Like I was on the phone with Chris from Allegiance, and he was just talking about he's like, yeah, if I want to go train with my brothers down in Ohio. He wasn't talking about it's not affiliate. There's no affiliate in Ohio. He was talking about just his brothers, that camaraderie of people who train.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's really cool.
Yeah. I was talking to one of my cousins yesterday, and he works for a company that sells medical supplies and things like that to physicians. And obviously getting inside the door, they get approached and they get solicited all the time. This guy said that he trained with me years ago. And as soon as jiu-jitsu came up, he's like, Mo, I can't even tell you, that guy's now one of my best clients. I don't know what happened. And it just, as soon as I mentioned jiu-jitsu, it was like, not only did I get the account, he ended up being a really nice guy.
That network, man.
Yeah. And he's actually done very, very well with the account. And then we got into arguing over the camaraderie and brotherhood of jiu-jitsu versus like football and basketball. So that's a whole.
This is not a conversation.
Yeah,
this is not a conversation.
That's a whole.
What you're asking me is the camaraderie built over guys eating wings and drinking beer, watching other people be active and compete,
David,
on a screen in a different city, and you don't even know who they are. You've never met them.
Well, he's talking about playing together.
Slightly different, but it's not the same.
And it is football season, so just choose your words carefully.
Okay. Come on. Well, okay.
Did the Lions win yesterday?
Probably. I'm gonna know nothing about football. I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say no. The Lions did not win. That's kind of what they do. They so on that topic.
Thanks, Brian.
So we're gonna go into. We're going to talk about mental health. Yeah. And actually, remind me, because I want to segue into, we can do it live. We can do it. Well, that would be a group thing, right? The round table. So we're doing that group thing.
Yeah.
Stay tuned for that group thing if you're on the team. But I do want to go into mental health. Yeah. Like we've had a lot of conversations personally amongst ourselves, and we always talk about what, because we want people do quit jiu-jitsu. Like it's difficult. It's difficult. And again, just like your charitable donation is the first thing to cut out of your budget when money gets tight, jiu-jitsu is a very easy thing to cut out when your schedule gets tight, when life happens, when, so when we talk to people, we're like, we forecast their life for them. We're like, sweet, what's a year look like? I talked to a guy last night. I was like, cool, you're getting married in 8 months. Does she know you're training here? Like, does she know you're on the team now? Are you able to still train after you're married? Like, are you committed to that? Like, oh, you're going to go to college. Like, so you kind of future pay and you think about these things. And so people quit for different reasons, but ultimately why they stay goes back to the why, connecting it to the first question, how do you overcome the nerves of starting jiu-jitsu? It's tough. Imagine me trying to explain the ocean to you if you've never seen water. How would you explain that to somebody? Because that is the vastness of the improvement of the mental health that you will experience when you train. But if you don't know, you don't know. So like you've never seen water before. I'm trying to explain to you what the Pacific looks like on a on a sunset, right? So I can tell you and say it's gorgeous. It comes up over the horizon. You don't know what the horizon is because you've never seen water. And I'm telling you it's amazing, and the wind and the waves and sea. And so I can tell you all about it, but you don't know because you've never experienced it firsthand. And so the mental health is why people keep training. So how would you make it as simple as possible? What if if someone's got depression, anxiety, PTSD, it's a no-brainer. You kind of get that's a really serious why you should be in here today. I'll make room for you on the mat today. Yeah. But what if, I wouldn't classify myself as depressed. And even if when we were locked down and I couldn't train, well, I kind of was depressed then. But if someone wouldn't say my mental health isn't bad, it's probably a 6 or 7 out of 10.
Yeah. So look, as we hear more and more about mental health, and there's a social stigma out there, which means if you're depressed or you're feeling run down or you're just feeling not yourself, that is mental health. That's my classification as mental health. So I believe every single person experienced mental health issues. Every single one of us, David, myself, everybody listening. But some people don't know how to address it quickly. So I experience mental health issues every single day, but I know how to I've learned how to dial myself back in and go put my mind and my body into a place, even outside of jiu-jitsu, that's going to kind of get me a little bit more centered and say, okay, this is not the real reality. This is not where I'm going to be the rest of my life. I'm not going to be in this moment forever. So I believe we experience it every single day, but it's just a matter of not being able to address what's causing the mental health and doing something that's going to help you feel better about yourself at that time. So I think we all experience it. Some people just live in that place.
So I have, those who know, I have no college degree. Okay. I have no college degree, but someone used one of, actually Coach Eric, who's a doctor. And I've read this somewhere else. They've compared the American lifestyle to this, right? Yeah. So we have a conditioned fight or flight response. When stress happens, 4,000 years ago, when someone's invading our village, that's a stressful situation. You can fight, you can run, you can hide. Those are your 3 options. And in a stressful situation, your body is fine-tuned and reacts and releases hormones to meet that stress. Well, now imagine it, and really good example was imagine you're being chased by a T-Rex or a dinosaur or a bear or whatever. Again, fight, run, hide. Those are your 3 options. So you go hide in a cave when the animal goes away. You come out, your body resets back to normal. Mm-hmm. Now imagine that the T-Rex is waiting outside the cave. So you're staying in this heightened sense of stressful situation. Your body's running on that stress. It's running in a permanently stressed environment. Mm-hmm. Your alarm clock. This is a stress-inducing device if you know how to use it correctly. This is I heard this best. Your phone is made for your convenience, not everyone else's. But that's not how it's used. You get a text notification. I got to reply to this real quick. Let me just reply to this real quick. I get all these notifications. That's why everyone gives me a hassle about my notifications. But I have no obligation to reply to most of those. Some of them I do. But the email from Best Buy's promo doesn't require my attention. And so when you're dealing with that stressful environment, if you don't have a way to handle that mental health, even if you wouldn't consider yourself quote unquote depressed, you may not realize just how stressed or tense or anxious you were until after training, and you're like, dude, I feel incredible. Like I feel, and I don't. It's one of those things you don't realize how maybe tight you were until you get a massage. You don't realize, it's things like that. So you may not realize it, and you could be accumulating years and years and years of stressful damage to your body that ultimately it's going to reach a breaking point. And so it's like a maintenance level. Do you agree with that?
I would. So what are some, if we could simplify it, what are a couple things that are good for mental health? And I think most of these people, my sister is actually on this one, but most of the ones that are listening are guys. And I know in your platinum coaching business where you work with husbands, I think mental health comes up often.
Huge, yeah.
Yeah, mental health comes up in your business. So when you're coaching those guys in the Elite Husband program, like what are a couple things you might share that you help the guys with dealing with that without getting into your entire program?
Sure.
Like, what are some easy changes to make? Because like I said, we all get here.
Yeah. So you gotta like you hit it, like recognize it.
Okay.
You have to recognize it,
Yeah.
and you have to like look into like you had mentioned, you have a system, and you recognize it, and you reset yourself.
Yeah.
You sort of reset yourself.
Yeah.
I do the same thing, right? Like if you have to like evaluate, like if you're just that feeling of stress, it could be caffeine, it could be whatever. Caffeine probably doesn't help, but you're like, I'm stressed and anxious. Then you have to do like sort of a reality audit and be like, why? Like, is there an actual legitimate reason? And then the answer is, while there may be a quote unquote legitimate reason, there's also a lot more to be grateful for. So like that gratitude, that mindset of gratitude and I would say a combination of gratitude and intention. Live your day with intention, live your day with gratitude, live your day with those two principles. So I'm going to be grateful for what I have, and I'm going to be intent on a vision that I've set, and I'm going to chase this and work towards this, even if it's 1% closer today.
Yeah.
Or a fraction of a percent closer today.
So I'll share something that I do first thing in the morning. One of the first things in the morning that I do is I will go make a donation someplace. So like this is my tip on how you to get into a place of gratitude, because gratitude equals altitude. The more grateful you are for what you have, the more your brain is going to search for things to be grateful for. So if you're like, I'm grateful for A, B, and C. I'm grateful for my children, my girlfriend, my wife. I'm grateful for my car. It could be a car. It could be, things that you can see and touch. Grateful for, for my worship or place of worship. If you, first thing in the morning, I like to give something physical. That's just me. Mm. So first thing in the morning, I will go and make a donation and drop it off. And it could be $1, it could be $5. And it could even be one of those things at the gas stations that you donate for the poor or for people in need or whatever. Who cares what the logistics are, who it's going to, where it's going? You're doing it for yourself. You're helping yourself by giving somebody else so you could feel grateful. You should almost never know who you're giving to and who you're helping. But if you get into a place of gratitude by giving first thing in the morning, that completely changes the trajectory of the day. The other thing I would say is like you said, we'll use work as an example. Man, you're so miserable about going to today's job, specifically today's, not your overall job, because if you're not happy at where you're working, you need to get the hell out of there. So,
facts.
Yeah, if you're not happy about doing today's job and you choose not to go, you already know the pain that you're going to feel from not going to the job later in the day. So like what I like to do is, for the training on the days that I do train and something's holding me back or whatever, I think, well, if I don't go to the gym or I don't train, how am I going to feel? And I immediately get neurons and my nervous system starts to feel what's going to happen if I don't exercise. And immediately I do a cost benefit analysis.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then I'm like, you know what? Actually, if I don't train, then I'm going to feel worse than this today.
The cost is too high.
Yeah.
You have a great why.
Yeah. And I'm not talking about long-term health. I'm talking about my mental health tonight. If I don't go to the gym and tonight is here, how am I going to feel tonight? I'd rather feel uncomfortable right now and feel a little bit better at night.
Yeah, so. Absolutely. And so, yeah, I think gratitude is a big one. Gratitude's a big one. I have one more portion of this mental health. John says, I would say jiu-jitsu's helped my mental health. I have chronic depression and high functioning anxiety. I show up anxious and unmotivated, but I leave hungry for more. It's an amazing feeling. 100%, John. Yeah, absolutely. Best way to mental health is to learn to listen to the heart and not the brain. You know, that's an interesting expression. You know, the term heart is like, that's what Americans use in the world use today for like what we like our inner feelings, right? Like why not the kidney? Why not the liver? You know, like, cause it's just as important as the brain. So but I would agree with that, Mark, like you're saying, most important time to be grateful is right before falling asleep. Best time to have an intent is upon waking up, upon awakening. Yep. So, they listen to the heart, not the brain. I would just say, I think being grateful and because our brain can deceive us. Yeah, I think our brain can deceive us. Like take for example, like reading into somebody's motives, right? So if take for example, so you mentioned you've got mental health things, right?
I do.
And we're having a conversation, and you talk to text a lot, which always doesn't help the situation. So it could come off short, right? And I was like, well, what's his problem? Like, because if I'm reading into something and I don't trust my brain, if I'm reading into something and I was like, well, what's his problem? He's got an attitude with me. So now, and he's just talked to texting with his AirPods. It's not picking up everything. He's probably driving, came up short. So now I'm upset with him about a motive he didn't mean to have.
Yeah.
And then that's going to affect the way I treat him. So then now, this is like a case perfect marriage thing. So now I'm upset with him for something he didn't mean to have. So I get an attitude with him, and he's like, well, now what's David being a jerk for? Like that's a just, and then you sort of get slighted back to me, and then it gets like this sort of downward type thing. So that's why state the facts. Okay. Like look at the facts. He sent me a text, and he said, okay, that means everything's okay. Like, that means everything's okay. Like if you say, okay, I'm not going to read into that. And then I'll be, and then always, you can tell way more in person than in remotely. So Mindy says, have a surgeon's heart, look for people around who may need you just to talk, shoulder to cry. And that alone will give you gratitude for a way to look to help others. And that will lift you up. Knowing you were there for people during difficult times also shows you to be more thankful for what you have or how easy your life is. Yeah. Talking to people, and perspective. I think what she's getting at is perspective there too. So case in point, the family that we're raising money for, it would be real easy for me to be like to be upset about something I have to do today, but am I a widower? Like, no. Did I lose my spouse? No. Like, so like in perspective, like that's a really selfish mindset to like be angry about something so mundane, so simple, so little, when there's tons of other, you can always find like, so that perspective of like, man, I really do have a lot to be grateful for. I really do have a lot to be grateful for.
Yeah. And you want to talk about a positive circle, like Mindy, if she's still watching, Mindy is one of our, Mindy's enrolled in our program. Her husband's in the program. Her kids are in the program. Yeah. And before she recruited everybody else.
Yeah.
Mindy recruited the whole family. Before she recruited everybody else, you want to talk about like getting back to one of today's topics is contribution is contribution in the mental health, which is what we're on now, Positive Circle. Mindy is probably the last one. She has 3 kids. I think she has 2 dogs. She works full-time. Her husband works full-time. But when they go to tournaments with us, they're the last one there.
Yeah.
They're the last ones there. They make sure they see all the competitors. And you think they're the head coaches there.
So I agree with that.
You want to talk about a positive circle. Like, how could you not give back to somebody like that in your circle, regardless of what position or what role you play, when you see somebody selflessly giving all of their time to contribute to a circle that they know is positive. And you have to give back to her, you know? Yeah. So, hey, by the way, speaking of giving back, Mindy, is Mindy still on? If you are on, Mindy.
Might be my Facebook.
Okay. Well, if she is on my page, kids asking for a donation. They're doing a 5K marathon, and I got hit up by 3 of her kids. So all 3. So post that on my personal. Buddy, like I said, $1 or $5. Challenge yourself to give to something. It doesn't matter what. But Mindy, go ahead and post that on my personal. And her kids go to a private school, and they're just raising money for like a little walkathon. Yep. Post that on
they I don't know if she's still, I don't know what. Oh, she says I'm here. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, post that on my personal. If anybody wants to, got anything out of this, give $1, give $5.
Hey, Jamie says, another one of them, Jiu Jitsu has helped my confidence. He's like a pretty head up at, I believe, at Quicken. It's helped me become a better leader at work, a better father, partner at home. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. 100%. And so, like we talked about, and we'll just kind of close this up with, like, here the positive circle. Yes, be grateful. Yes, keep things in perspective. Yes, all of that. But the positive circle, there comes a point, like, to tie it back. Nothing. I joke, okay? Like, I spent a long time in Monroe, but like I had a lot of negative influences in Monroe. Like, I've got like a whole negative history in Monroe. I needed to get out of there. Okay, personally, there's a lot of people I'm sure doing great things. Coach Todd, it's a perfect example, doing great things in Monroe. So like I think it's important to know when to let something go, let a relationship go. Yeah. Not prematurely, right? And so this is where that wisdom comes in. Not prematurely, but realize, like, this is where Simon Sinek did an interview.
Okay, well, real quick, you want to talk about letting go? We only have like another minute, but so the clients that you work with, the easiest thing to do is let go of your circle and or marriage. Yeah. So give us a tip on how you hold on.
I've made a promise to stick with one person my entire life.
Okay.
That's it. So that's my wife. Like, so like, and I took an oath. I took a promise.
Okay.
Well,
that's pretty simple.
So it's to me, that question comes down to
So keep your word.
Yeah. Are you a man of your word or not? Yeah. And how important is that promise to you? But positive circle, when to go, when to leave, and then seeking out people. It literally is as simple as seeking out people who are where you want to be.
Yeah.
Like that's it.
Yep.
And you will never ever be criticized for doing it. You will never be talked down by, like, the millionaire is never going to make fun of your lemonade stand for you trying to raise some money. He's never going to do it. He's going to say good. He's probably going to support you. Yeah. So just that positive circle. It's huge. I'm excited to talk about the Knights Roundtable tonight in our members group. I'm going to probably immediately after this, we'll post something in it. But do we have anything to add for the last 60 seconds before we head in here?
Let me see if any other questions.
We got a lot of screens, bro. I think that there's this app I got to check out where you can have it on like one screen.
No, it looks. Oh my God, we met our $3,000.
Awesome. Thank you guys.
Yeah, for everybody who donated.
Thank you guys.
Thank you guys. I'm going to send a message out there. So, I would just ask, find something, someplace, somebody, give $5.
Absolutely.
Anything, just give. Go give and go do something and watch how much you get in return for that.
And if you don't have money, give your time.
Yeah.
Time is money. So, all right, guys. Well, thank you so much for tuning in. The questions, love it all the support. We'll be here next Tuesday. Another podcast. As always, we'll see you
on the
on
mats.
the mats.